What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Talking Halos. I'm your host today, Jared Timms, and I'm joined alongside my co-host, my partner in crime, Nate Green. Nate, 2-in-1 day, by the way. So get this. I don't think probably has never. I mean, it's probably happened before, but I got a haircut after the first podcast today. So and I changed jackets. I don't think I was wearing this jacket. Same day, 2 podcasts, different haircut, new manager. That's big news, huh? We got to do that. First, slight apologies for posting that podcast before this. We still wanted to get it out. We still wanted to get it out. It had Taylor, Blake, Ward, Nick. Go listen to it. It's actually got a lot of fun stuff in it. We talked like who's going to be manager. We talked about Ron Washington quite a bit. Just it felt like leading up to this, it was going to be him. And it made a lot of sense. Now that it is, and now a bit of the coaching staff has been released as well. So let's get our initial thoughts here on the Ron Washington signing. First, don't forget to follow us on all our social medias, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Just look us up, Talking Halos, talkinghalos.com as well. And get some writers going there. If anybody wants to write for us, just shoot us a message on any social media. Follow myself on X at Jared_Timms, Nate at NateGreen34.
And if you're watching on YouTube, smash that bell.
Dang, look at you. Look at you taking.
Got you.
Now let's get it going.
Okay.
Man, I am excited, dude. I don't even know where to begin. Ron Washington, new manager of the Angels. My dad will not be happy. I'll tell you that. My dad is not a Ron Washington fan. He does not like the Texas Rangers.
It's all good.
And you want to know the reason why he doesn't like the Texas Rangers?
Because they win.
No, because they wear red. He thinks that they are not a red team.
That's fair.
Right. And it's fair. But back on to Ron Washington, as you can probably tell, we're extremely excited. This was our guy headed into last offseason. I think we both agreed that they should have brought in Ron Washington. I'm hoping it's not too little too late. But let's get reactions here first. Go ahead, shoot, fire away. What do you got?
Yeah, I mean, what a week to start this thing off. I mean, we had a really fun interview that's gonna get released next week.
Just gonna throw it out there.
I'm just plugging it. I'm sorry.
Joe
You're gonna say who it is?
I'll say it. We had Joe Adele coming on next.
Yeah, we got to talk to Joe Adele yesterday, so super pumped to start the week off with that. Then you get TBW on, and then you get the manager that we've all been waiting for. Everyone was like, "Oh, it's going to happen right after the World Series," and everyone's like, "What happened to right after the World Series?" And now on November the 8th, it comes out. Ron Washington's the manager, and I don't think I've been this excited for the Angels to do something in a while. Like, I don't think the Angels have made a decision that has been this smart in a long time.
6 years ago.
Yeah, I wasn't a big Joe Madden guy. Like, Joe Madden, great manager, but not the guy that I thought should have been the guy leading this team. But you look at what Ron Washington brings to the table. He brings the Angels were one of the worst in baseball when it came to defense, and we know Ron Washington is one of the best infield coaches, if not the best infield coach in Major League Baseball. You're bringing that to the staff right away. You're bringing a guy who's won before. He's been in the American League West. He's won before. He's won the American League West title. Been to the World Series. He's won a World Series, not as a manager, but as an assistant coach. So, like, there's just so many things. And not only is it Ron Washington, but it's a baseball guy. Like, everyone, I think you could start right now and say the Angels are winning the offseason right now. And people are going to say, oh, what about Craig Counsell and the Cubs and this and that? And it's like, oh, okay, Craig Counsell listens to a computer. That's great. He's a very good communicator, and he listens to a computer. Great job. But we got a guy who knows how to manage a baseball game and is going to be able to say, like, hey, this is the guy we're going to go to in this situation, because I've seen this situation. I'm 71 years old, and I've seen this situation more times than any of these guys have even, like, dreamed of seeing this situation. So I'm super excited for the veteran leadership. I'm super excited for Ron and what he brings to the table. And then not only is he, like, just that guy with all of that, he brings a coaching staff
We'll get there.
But like,
we'll get there.
I don't know. There's just so much to be excited about right now. It's amazing.
Yeah, no, I'm extremely excited. I mean, Ron Washington. This has been our guy. You can go back. I mean, if you scroll through YouTube, you'll find a picture probably of Ron Washington last year about this time saying, "Who will the Angels' next manager be?" and it had a picture of Ron Washington, and we talked about Ron Washington. Now, with all that being said, I'm going to play a little bit of devil's advocate here because it's more fun to disagree. I'm excited. I love Ron Washington. We'll get into the coaching staff, all that side of stuff. I will say a couple things. I think it's 1 year too late, unfortunately. But that does not mean that this team cannot be good. On top of what I just said, this team has not been over 500 in 8 years. They were not over 500 in the Shohei Ohtani era. And I don't think they've been over 500 since they made the playoffs. Maybe a year after that, they won 86 or 87 games, something like that. Trying to remember off the top of my head. I'm like 2000 and they went to the playoffs in 2009. They went to the playoffs in 2013. They might have been over 500 in 2000. Nope, that might have been their last year, over 500. Regardless, I'm just throwing that out there. This team has not been over 500. This team is losing arguably the best player on this team. They're losing arguably their best pitcher, which we'll get into it on if this actually helps them or hurts them. There are a lot of things wrong with this team right now. Now, this is a great step in the right direction, and we'll talk about the coaching staff here in a minute because we think that there is a future manager in the makings on this coaching staff. But
2015, 85 and 77. 2014 was the last time they made the playoffs. So we're looking at 2015, the last time this team was a over 500 team.
And for me, I'll stick to this. Like, having Ron Washington as a manager will definitely improve. I still don't believe that a manager makes a huge difference.
Tell that to the Texas Rangers.
No, I know.
Tell that to the Texas Rangers.
You can say Texas Rangers, and you can you can even say
Dodgers. I mean, we could play this game all you want. Like,
I know.
Do the Dodgers have a real manager? No, they have a computer that tells them what to do, and that's why they don't win. You look at Texas. Texas goes, you know what? We got to go out and get a guy who knows what he's doing. And this computer thing, it's great, but Boch knows how to win games. He's done this before. We're going to go out a veteran.
I'm just playing devil's advocate here, right?
I'm going to go right back at you, though, because like I'm so excited about Ron. I think this is a home run hire, and the Angels haven't done anything like this in a long, long time. Get a guy that really fits what this team is looking for. Like, you can say Joe Madden was a great fit and all that. Joe Madden is a young team coach. He needs to work with young guys that are really working. He does. He needs to work with a team that's very young.
I just want you to rephrase it next time you say that. Okay,
that's fine. Tampa Bay, young, fun, wins there.
Yeah.
Chicago, young, fun, wins there. The Angels, at the time they hired Joe Madden, they were one of the oldest teams in Major League Baseball.
I say Joe Madden now would even be interesting with how much younger they are. You know, I mean, like
that's fine now, right? But a couple years ago, like, they weren't young. They were very old. You had Justin Upton, you had Mike Trout, who's getting older. You had Anthony Rendon. Like, you had a very, very old team, and now you've got a very young team that needs to get better defensively. And Ron Washington is going to do it. Like, that's his calling card, is defense, and this team I expect to be in the top half of Major League Baseball in defense next year. And I think the one thing that he could bring to this organization that I think is a big deal as well is play freaking every day. Atlanta Braves guys, they don't miss games. They don't miss games. Austin Riley played 158 games last year. Matt Olson played 162 games. Ronald Acuna missed 15 games because he was on the 15-day IL. Sean Murphy played like 130 games last year, which is a lot for a starting catcher. You go through and you look at when those guys are healthy, they play. And that is so important. It's going to help you stay in the groove. It's going to help you continue to get better every single day. And it's just going to help you in so many different ways. And I hope he brings that kind of attitude with him as well of like, hey, we're paying you to play. You're going to play. We're not going to be like, you do need 4 days off before we can let you play again. Like, no, like we're paying you $35 million. Go play.
Yeah. I will say this as well before we get on to the coaching staff, because I do want to talk about the coaching staff as well, because this is I don't know how to explain this coaching staff. It's I'm just as excited for this coaching staff as I am for Ron Washington. And by the way, can confirm it that this is the coaching staff coming in. I know Nightingale pushed it out there, but I've heard words since then. So can confirm that this is the coaching staff coming in. What I was going to say before this, though, is I have not seen in such an overwhelming amount of support on social media. And by social media, I mean Instagram. I do have a burner Instagram that I follow all the Angels on. Just throwing that one out there. And I have not seen so many players, not just major leaguers, but in the org post about something like this ever. I'm just blatantly honest with you. Ever. It is never seen it happen. So he has I'm sure he hasn't even talked to a lot of these guys, and he has this team where he wants them to go. So I'm excited. Again, play negative Nate, play devil's advocate here, because somebody's got to do it tonight, Nate. I know you're extremely excited, but someone's got to be negative. This team is still not this team has still not won, has still not been a winning team, hasn't been over 500 in 8+ years, I think now. This team is losing their best player. So I said I'm pumping the brakes just a little bit on all this, but I'm excited. I am excited. Let's get on to the coaching staff here. Whoo, man, this is a fun coaching staff, man. This is
wow.
I like this. I like this a lot.
Have you ever seen a coach come in, a manager come in and bring this kind of staff?
This is another thing we've been talking about.
It does not happen very often.
110% what we've been talking about is
Bruce Bochy didn't even bring in this kind of staff. Like, he brought in some veteran guys, like he brought in Mike Maddox and people like that. But like, this is
brought in his bench coach too,
Donnie Eckerman. Yeah, like this is a professional making professional decisions. Like that is not what we've been asking for as Angel fans? Like, put a professional in the room to make professional decisions and stop having people who are not made to make those decisions make decisions. Like, we should not have people in the front office in the dugout. Like, it just shouldn't happen. And when you bring in a guy who has as much feel and as much say as Ron Washington does, because he's got a lot of street cred, he can go in there and be like, this is my staff. Take it or leave it. If you don't want it, well, then you don't got me. And that's what's one of the most exciting things about bringing in Ron, is like, you knew he was going to bring in a staff that made sense for him, and super, super excited with what he's got.
Yep. So let's start it off. The bench coach, I know him as Pirates manager. I don't know if
Rockies manager.
I guess I know him as Pirates manager. Clint Hurdle. Fantastic ad there. I'll say that when you can get another manager, like, it's kind of the Dino Evil thing, you know, fantastic. Like Dino as your bench coach is absolutely unbelievable. Donnie Ecker is your bench coach. Clint Hurdle, former manager, as your bench coach, fantastic. No pitching coach yet. We'll see kind of where
named yet.
No pitching coach named yet. We'll see where that goes. Hitting coach, former Angel Chili Davis. I'll let you be negative here. Go ahead, say what you said to me. If you want.
No, this is the only one that I'm kind of cautiously optimistic about. You know, like, Chili's been here, he's done that. That's one thing that I'm really excited about, is that, like, Chili has coached before, and he's been a hitting coach and things like that. I don't know how many of his teams have had like super, super big hitting success, but has he had the right hitters to have that kind of success? I don't know either. So that's the one guy that's like, well, we'll see. But everyone else on the staff, man, like, these guys have had success either at their level of a coach, or they had stupid success as a player and haven't coached yet. Obviously, Chili Davis was a very good player, an all-star and things like that. So super excited. Again, the one nice thing about Chili Davis, though, is he's not going to be this staff doesn't feel super analytical. It doesn't feel like they're going to play a lot of games on paper and like, well, you know, this is what the paper says to do. Like, no, this feels very much like a 2002 type of staff, where it's like, hey, we're going to make decisions based on putting guys in the right position to succeed, and that's going to help us win baseball games. Not necessarily, well, the computer says to bring in this guy to face this guy, or, you know, the computer actually says that this guy is unavailable today, even though he's pitched 3 straight days, you know, his entire career, but apparently now he can't pitch 3 straight days. So
I'll say this. I think, like, to take a step back before we get to first base coach, take a step back. I think analytics are needed, but I don't think, I think they're needed in the I think they're needed. All right. Like, but
But
you
that's
cannot
Perry.
play.
Perry
You,
can do that. Like he doesn't need
yes.
his entire staff to do that.
You cannot play full analytics. I don't believe. I think that gets you the playoffs maybe, but that different thing. I think analytics are
Well,
100%
just ask
needed.
Tampa Bay, just ask the Dodgers. You can
There you go.
ask all these teams that play full analytics and see how it's gone for them. The one exception to the rule has been the Houston Astros, but we know how they won. So, um,
They're
yeah,
good.
we'll
They're a good
just leave it.
organization.
We'll just leave it at that.
First base coach, former Angel, Torii Hunter. Man, that's pretty. That's cool. That's one of
Super
my favorite
excited.
ones. That I growing up being in that era where Tori's playing center field.
And
That
then move to right. Yeah,
moved to right
that's
from Mike. Like that's as good as it gets. I mean, and I'm just
really,
like
really good
replaying.
clubhouse guy.
Yeah, yeah,
Really
absolutely.
good clubhouse guy. I think part of it for him too is just an opportunity for him to learn and grow as a coach and potentially be a manager because his name was mentioned for this manager job.
Yeah.
Obviously, we don't know how far into this he actually made it. Was it a phone call? Was it a real interview? Did he make the second round? Things like that. We don't know.
Yeah.
But for him, this is the step in the right direction to become a manager, especially learning from a coach like Ron, who's been so successful in everything he's done.
Yeah. And you mentioned it in previous podcasts. Was Torii Hunter the guy that gets Mike Trout to move out of center field? Like
He
that.
was.
That no, is
Oh
Torii
yeah,
Hunter the guy
yeah. He could
to
be.
get Mike Trout
He
to move
could be
out of
the
center
guy to
field?
just be like, "Hey, buddy,
Right?
like I did it for you. It's your turn to do it for fill in the blank." Because hey, I ended up playing 30
Fun.
extra games because I moved to right field, and it allowed me to play 6, 7, 8 extra years instead of like, well, my body was done and I only played 3 or 4 years. So I'm excited for what Tori's going to bring to this coaching staff. I'm excited to see what Torii brings to this culture because this culture needs a big change. This culture has been trash for a long time, and I'm super excited to see what this entire staff brings to it because it is going to be different. This is going to be a different Angels team, and I have not said that a lot lately. I have actually been the guy to say same stuff, different year, and I've been fairly correct with when I've said that. But I'm super excited to see the culture change.
We'll see how you feel in March. Third base coach. Third base coach, Eric Young Sr., not Eric Young Jr., former Angel there. Eric Young Sr., I'm excited about this one too, comes from, I believe he was first base coach for the Atlanta Braves, right?
So my first thought is he might have been with Washington last year. I'm going to check this because
I know he was
I
with the
know
Braves.
it might have been Junior that was with Washington. So
I mean, regardless, it's a background in baseball. I'm extremely excited for Eric Young Sr.
played.
He brings a lot to the table. And then infield coach at the moment, Ryan Goins. I think Ryan Goins was a pitcher, wasn't he? Didn't he
Nope.
also pitch? I'm thinking of
No, middle infielder.
I'm thinking of somebody else, by the way, not a pitcher.
So it was Junior that was with Washington. Senior's been with the Braves since 2018. So yeah, good get there.
I'm excited. I'm excited about that. I'm excited about Ryan Goins coming up as well. And
Blue Jays second baseman, I believe.
Yep.
That's where I remember him most is Blue Jays, but I think he might have even got like a sniff with like the Dodgers or something like that as well. But
yeah, I'm excited though. I'm extremely excited for all of this here. Man, dude, this is just a really solid start to the offseason.
Blue Jays, Royals, and White Sox.
I don't know if you have anything else to add on to this big news here. If not, look out for a Joe Adele interview. It's coming up here real soon. I'll also throw this out there. Ben Joyce interview coming soon as well. We have Taylor Blake Ward on. Told you guys we wouldn't disappoint. We're gonna get we're getting guys on. We're gonna get more guys on. Talk about all this fun stuff. And
we're gonna continue to be up to date on the Angel news. When the Angels make a signing, you're gonna hear from us, or a trade or whatever it is. But I'm curious to see what the next move is for the Angels, like because it's been the same thing with Perry early and often. Are they going to target some guys that have played with Wash? Or this is the other thing that I want to talk about too that we didn't even get to talk about too much. Think about all the players who love Ron Washington.
Ronald Acuna, Ozzy Albies. Yeah, go on.
I'm not going to go that far. But like, think about all the guys that love Ron Washington that could be available that are like, I want to go to the Angels. One, it's Southern California. Two, I get to play for a guy who I think is one of the best coaches in baseball, and I get to continue to learn from him. I mean, I go back to the Pete Alonso thing in the All-Star game. Like, Ron Washington is working with Pete, making him a better first baseman. And I'm not saying Pete Alonso is an angel.
Don't put that on us.
I am not saying that. But I'm just saying,
he might be on the market. He might be on the market, man.
But I'm just saying, think about guys like that, where it's like, he took time out of his All-Star break. He's at the All-Star game, and he's working with a New York Met who is a division rival. They're fighting for the playoffs, and he goes out of his way to make Pete Alonso a better first baseman. Think about all those guys that have been all-stars, that have been around the game, that have been really, really good players. Are like, I want to play for that guy. Like, he knows his stuff. He's going to be on top of it. And one thing we know about Wash, he's a winner. Like, he wins baseball games. Everywhere he's been winning baseball games.
Absolutely. So,
like, you go back to Moneyball. He was in Moneyball with the A's. Like, tell him how easy it is, Wash. It's incredibly difficult, right? Like, trying to convince Scott Hadberg to play first base. So there wins in Texas, wins in Atlanta. There are just so many things. So I'm super excited that we bring in Wash with this amazing staff. Can't wait to see what happens the rest of the offseason.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think it opens up a new chapter. We didn't even talk about like what this does for free agency, the guys that want to play with him. Not that guys don't want to play for guys like Phil Nevin or Joe Madden, but like the track record that Ron Washington have. I mean, that's.
I think there were probably some that like to play for Joe, but I think Joe also rubbed some people the wrong way, and I don't really see Ron Washington's personality rubbing too many people the wrong way when it comes to like on the field and the way he coaches. I don't know. Could be wrong there.
I'll say this, and we'll let everybody go here. I absolutely hated watching Ron Washington celebrate. I'm extremely excited to watch him celebrate in the Angels dugout. I hated that, and that was
my gosh,
biggest,
all the time.
So that pissed me off more than anything. I felt
like they celebrated every year for that he was in Texas. Like there, I know there was probably a year where he didn't make the playoffs, but it felt like every year that dude was celebrating, and that dude was arms raised, losing his mind in the dugout. Like, I'm super excited to watch this guy.
Yeah, it's I'm excited. 2 years of Ron Washington, and then who knows what's going on. It brings great culture, it brings everything to the table. Let's see what this offseason brings for Angels. So as always, guys, thank you so much for listening to this podcast and watching us. Go ahead and hit that bell if you're watching us on YouTube. Follow us on all our social medias, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You can follow myself on X at Jared_Tims, Nate at NateGreen34. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Have a great rest of your day.